Question. What is an example? No? Because I promised you last time an example of a situation where a certain parcel of land that is within an area considered as forest land, no? Or a land that is not alienable, or a classification that is not alienable and disposable, was and still was covered by a certificate of title. So hello there, I am Attorney John Edmond Ruz, and you are listening to our show Hold Your Ground. Together, we spend a few minutes of the present to gather lessons from the past as an investment for our future. So here is the example. In a case, there was a certain parcel of land that was issued a certificate of title around the 1950s, 1960s. 30 years later, the DNR, through the Office of the Regional Executive Director, with the Office of the Solicitor General acting as counsel, as lawyer para sa DNR, questioned the validity of the certificate of title because 30 years later, around the 1980s, there was a certain land classification map. The certain parcel of land in the land classification map around 1980s, 30 years after, was stating that this parcel of land with a certificate of title was within already forest land classification, meaning from previous classification around the 1950s, 1960s, that the parcel of land was within an alienable and disposable classification. 30 years later, it was already classified as a forest land. So there was a reclassification. So when the title was issued 30 years back, it was classified as A and D, or alienable and disposable. It was so it was a perfect example for the situations we have mentioned in the previous video, where generally a certain parcel of land to be covered by a certificate of title must be considered as alienable and disposable. But there, in this case, way back in the 1950s, it was alienable and disposable, and it was titled. However, 30 years later, there was a land classification map that reclassified the area. So you will see that a certain area classified as a forest land or a timberland could be covered by a certificate of title because the title was issued years prior to the reclassification. So before you leave, if you like our video, please do not forget to like our page and click the subscribe button. Thank you.